You ever feel like no matter what you do, it's just not enough? You show up with kindness, with loyalty, with effort, and somehow she still drifts. You play it cool, try to create space, and suddenly you're too cold. It's a frustrating place to be, like walking a tightrope that keeps shifting. You start asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? But here's what most men never realize. It's not about being too much or too little. It's about being too expected. It's too predictable, too common. She's not pulling away to punish you. She's not testing you because she's cruel. Doing it because she's trying to feel something real, something she hasn't felt in a long time. She's waiting to see if you're not just another guy following a script, trying to impress her, trying to win her with strategies or charm. She's waiting to see if you're different, not different in how you dress, not different in how smooth you talk, but different in your energy, in your depth, in your ability to stay grounded when things get uncertain. Wants to know, can you handle discomfort without losing yourself? When you stay emotionally solid when her energy shifts. That's what's really happening when she goes distant or tests your boundaries. Most guys start chasing. They lose composure. They react. And in doing so, they show her everything she feared, that they're just like the rest. But the man who pauses, the man who doesn't flinch, the man who stays calm without being cold, that man feels different to her. That man feels like home and mystery at the same time. That's who she remembers. That's who she wants. So the real question isn't what do I do? It's who am I when the moment gets real? Holding frame isn't just some dating tactic. It's a reflection of your inner strength. Most men crumble the moment things get shaky. She takes a little longer to reply, and suddenly they're spiraling. She seems distant, and they start questioning themselves, overanalyzing every word, wondering what they did wrong. That reaction, that emotional chaos, that's what breaks the frame. Because what she's really feeling in those moments isn't just her own emotions. She's scanning your response. She's watching to see if you'll stay centered or if you'll get swept away by her emotional waves. And when you lose your ground, you send a clear message. I don't have control over myself. And if you can't control yourself, how can you lead? How can she trust you emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Holding frame means you don't change your energy just because hers does. If she gets cold, you don't panic. If she pulls away, you don't chase. You stay rooted, still, present. You move through life on your terms, not hers. You show her without words that you're not here to prove anything. You know who you are. That quiet confidence, it's powerful. It draws her in. Because it makes her feel safe, not because you're constantly validating her, but because you're not shaken by her shifts. You become the constant in a world full of variables. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally mature. You feel, but you don't flinch. You care, but you don't cling. She may not say it out loud, but when she sees that strength in you, that unshakable core, something clicks. She starts to respect you on a deeper level. She starts to trust that you won't lose yourself just because her mood changes. And that's rare. That's magnetic. Most men don't realize they've become emotional puppets until it's too late. She smiles. They light up. She gets distant. They sink. She's affectionate. They feel secure. She pulls away, and they go into panic mode. Their entire emotional state is tied to how she feels that day, and that's where they lose her respect. Because if you're always dancing to her rhythm, she'll start to feel like she's leading the connection, and that's not the energy. She wants to follow. She wants to feel your center, not control it. That's why being the mirror, not the puppet, is everything. It means you reflect her energy without becoming consumed by it. You stay aware, present, grounded. If she pulls back, you don't chase, you match her distance effortlessly. Not with resentment, not with anger, but with quiet confidence. If she comes closer again, you welcome her, without making her feel guilty for the pullback. That's how a high-value man moves. He doesn't take her shifts personally. He understands her emotions are like the ocean, always moving, always testing for something solid to rest against. By becoming the mirror, you communicate something powerful without even speaking. I see you, but I won't abandon myself. To keep you, that energy is rare. It's what sets you apart, because you're not reacting out of fear. You're responding from a place of clarity. And here's the truth. When you stop performing for her affection and instead hold your own emotional ground, she starts to chase the steadiness she feels in your presence. She starts to respect you, not just as a man, but as a force. That's when you stop being an option and start becoming a standard, because mirrors reflect truth, and when she sees herself in your calm strength, it wakes something up inside her. Silence is one of the most powerful tools a man can master, yet most run from it. The moment a woman goes quiet, most guys panic. They assume the worst. She's losing interest. She's talking to someone else. They did something wrong. That fear takes over, and suddenly they're double texting, over-explaining, trying to break the silence just to feel in control again. But here's the truth most don't understand. Real power lives in the quiet. A man who can sit in silence without fear is a man who holds true strength. Because silence isn't emptiness. Space. Space to feel. Space to think. To wonder, and when you give a woman that space, it does something. It lets her feel the absence of your energy. Makes her question, reflect, even crave your presence more. You don't need to fill every gap. You don't need to rush in with validation or comfort just because things feel uncertain. In fact, when you don't, that's when you become more powerful in her eyes. Because you're not reacting from insecurity, you're responding from calm, collected confidence. You're showing her that you don't fear distance. You don't fear losing her. You're willing to let the silence speak. That's a language most men never learn. She feels it too, even if she doesn't say it. That silence builds emotional tension, the good kind that makes her start to miss you, feel you, and question her own moves. And when you re-engage, it feels intentional, not desperate. That's when she leans in. Not because you chased, but because you didn't. Let silence do what your words can't. Let it reveal your power. Because the man who can sit in silence without losing himself is the man she'll never forget. You don't need to be perfect to be respected. You don't need to play safe or act like someone you're not. What makes a man magnetic is his realness. Raw, unfiltered, grounded, authenticity. But most men don't believe that's enough. They think they have to over-explain themselves, hide their flaws, keep everything polished to be worthy, so they overcompensate. They play roles. Water themselves down trying to be good enough or safe. And in doing that, they kill attraction. Because a woman doesn't want a man who's perfect. She wants a man who's real. She wants to feel that you're choosing her, not chasing her.
Yes.
That you have depth, not just charm.
Yes.
That you've seen your shadows and still stand tall in your truth. You don't win her over by performing. You win by being unapologetically yourself. By standing on what you believe. By showing her your strength without trying to dominate, and showing your vulnerability without begging for approval. That balance, that's what makes a man unforgettable. She can feel when you don't need her, but still want her. She can sense. When you're not pretending, not hiding, not seeking validation, you're just you. And that's enough. You don't need to tell her every reason why you didn't text back. You don't need to explain why you were busy. Your energy should say, I have a life, a mission, and I move with purpose. If she's the right woman, she'll respect that. She'll feel that power and be drawn to it. When you stop trying to be what you think she wants and just become the man you respect, everything changes. She doesn't fall for the performance, she falls for the presence, for the depth, for the truth. And that's what makes her stay.